Hello everyone, my name is Lily and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about 10 must-haves for epilepsy. So I said this in the last video. I was diagnosed with epilepsy in 2015. I was 15 at the time, now I am 19, going to be turning 20 soon. And it's taught me a lot. It's definitely taught me to be way more mature than I was. And let me tell you right now, it's better to tell people than not tell and then accidentally, if you have a seizure, someone freaks out. So my dad, for some reason, has always been fixated on this idea of never telling anyone about me having epilepsy, which resulted in me making a YouTube channel about it. Yeah, he also doesn't know about that. That's, I guess, something that he tried to do to protect me in a way, because if no one knows, then no one will make fun of me for that or bully me in any way for having a disability. But it also taught me that the more I don't tell anyone, the worse it will be, because if no one knows, like the people you are surrounded by, if they don't know, how are they going to help? They won't be able to. So my advice from me to any person with epilepsy is tell people. I'm also always wearing this scrunchie, which is purple, and purple is the representative color for most disabilities, including blindness and epilepsy. So I always wear this. Of course, not many people know that this is a thing, but I like to wear that and I like to be proud, because if I am living like this and this is my life, I would never ever want to feel bad about it or to feel like I don't belong. And obviously there was a time that I felt that. That was when I was just diagnosed, and I was 15, I was a kid. I didn't know how to respond to that. I didn't know anything about epilepsy, so obviously I started to do research and I learned a lot. And I also have a whole Instagram page that's dedicated to epilepsy and awareness, which is what I am here for. I mean, I'd rather do something about it and with this than just think that I'm disabled and just live with this idea that, oh my god, I'm a disabled person. Yes, epilepsy does count as a disability, but if I have epilepsy, it does not mean that I can't do normal things like other people can do. It doesn't mean I can curl my hair or straighten it. It doesn't mean I can't do my nails or something. No, I live as any normal person would, but in a way I would say I am more mature and I look at life differently, because in my case life can be short, and I would not like that. So I'm trying to live to my fullest, and I guess now I'll get to the actual list. And wearing my XPLR merch, the Sam and Colby merch. I love those boys and they're a huge inspiration. So number 1 on my list is meds. If you are epileptic, I wouldn't like to say that because I wouldn't like to define anyone like that. So let's say if you have epilepsy and you are on medication and it's helping you, I would always have my medication on me. At least like 1 like this, a big one, just in case. And I am currently on carbamazepine. I have no idea if you know what that is or not, but whatever. I changed my medication once. I was on Defakine, which again I have no idea if I'm pronouncing it right in English, but whatever, and if you know it or don't know it. But it doesn't matter at this point, so medication is a very important thing. So let's say I'm a college student, right? And if I have a class that finishes at 2:30 and I have to drink my medicine at 3, and I think, I'll make it home in 30 minutes. But then sometimes things happen and something comes up and I don't make it home. That means at that moment I don't have my medicine on me, and that can end up in me having a seizure, and I wouldn't like that. And at this point I've been drinking medicine for 4 years, and sometimes when I don't have my meds on me I start a panic attack, because if I don't have my meds, I might have a seizure. So that results in me having a panic attack. So important medicine, have it on you all the time. Second must-have would be a notebook, or I guess in this case your phone could also be used as a notebook, like you write it down in your notes, but I would rather have a notebook. It's easier that way, it's not in your phone, because when everything is in your phone, that's just too much. So I have this huge ass notebook. It's very thick. It's a notebook of Finn from Adventure Time, the cartoon, and so what I do is I write the dates and I write the times that I have to take it, and I put little ticks on there. So when I have to drink it, then I take the notebook out and I put a tick on there to make sure that I know, because sometimes, for example, I take 800 milligrams of carbamazepine. That's 4 little these ones, so 4 of those, and in a day. But I take 1.5 in the morning, 1 at noon somewhere at 3. So, and then another 1.5 I take at 9 p.m. So it's 9 a.m., 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. And sometimes when I wake up so early, especially on summer break, which I am on now, when I wake up so early just to drink my meds, sometimes I'll wake up later and I'll think, oh my god, did I take it? I don't remember. Which is why I always have the notebook, and I always make sure to put a tick in there just to make sure that I drank it. And I'm filming this literally like 11:30 somewhere. So today is 1st June. I'm filming this on 1st June, but obviously uploading it on 3rd. So 1st of June, obviously, write the date, and I have the 9 a.m. and it's ticked because 9 has already passed and I drank it. And next up comes the 3 p.m. one, so I'm gonna put a tick on there when I drink it. Next up on the list, number 3, we have water. So obviously, if I'm drinking meds, I'm gonna need water, and water is very important in this because sometimes I take the meds and then I don't take water, and then if there are no shops around where I am, or no vending machines, and I can't buy water at that moment, I just put it in my mouth and I just swallow it. And first of all, that's like an ew feeling for me, at least, because it's literally a medication and it's a little sour and everything. So I wouldn't like to, you know, drink it without water. And also, I don't know how it affects me when I drink it without water. So water is one of the essentials to have next to me or in my bag if I'm at college. That's a very important thing. So my college has vending machines, so that's a really good thing, but water can run out in those vending machines too. And we do have a fountain next to the college, but thousands of people drink water from it, so I guess it's better to have it on you. And fourth on the list, I would say to have, if you do, a service dog. So if you have a service dog, obviously it's better to keep it with you. I don't have one, but I really want to have a service dog one day. And the reason I don't have one is because my country doesn't have them. So literally, my country doesn't have guide dogs or service dogs of any type. And so I don't have one. But my hope is to move to LA one day, and I know that I can do YouTube, and I obviously can get a job because I am a college student now, so I'm going to have a degree. That would be good, and I know that they have and they allow service dogs. And by a service dog, I mean seizure detecting dogs. So I have absolutely no idea how they work, and I don't have any friends who have those dogs, and it's an essential, because if that dog can help with a seizure, I'd rather have that dog with me than not have a dog and hurt myself in the process. So one time I had a seizure and I cut my head a little. I was with a friend who did not know that I had epilepsy, and I fell on the floor like hardcore asphalt, and that was not a good thing. I mean, I was lucky because I didn't like have a huge, like a deep cut, so I lived, thank God. But it's good to have your dog with you all the time if you have one. So number 5 on the list, I'd say not have it with you because it's not a thing, but always have someone who knows. So if you're hanging out in a group, if not all of them know, if you're not feeling, let's say, that trustworthy of those people, at least have one person in your group that knows. That's an essential, because that person can freaking save your life once. And I've lived that. So the time that I just told you about, where I had a seizure on the street and I was with a friend who didn't know, we were going home at that point, and the first thing she did when I had a seizure, she called my friend who knew. And that was, you have no idea how amazing that was. That was an amazing thing, because she called my friend, my boy best friend, who knew that I had epilepsy, and he took care of me, and obviously called 911. So here's the deal with that. I hate when people that don't know your condition just call 911, because 911, if they don't know your diagnosis, they don't know what exactly to do, because not every single person that has a seizure has epilepsy, because there are tons and tons of types of seizures, and obviously there are some types that are the epilepsy seizures, but there are other types of seizures. And when people call 911 on me, I just hate that, because those people have no idea what my diagnosis is. And so obviously during a seizure I can hear what's going on, but I can't talk, and that's the most ew thing of them all, because you want to tell them, so they'll just back off, but you can't, and they just do something to you when you have no idea what it is, or sometimes they will try to give you medication, let's say something to calm you down. For the seizure, I mean, okay, but it doesn't really affect it, so I just really don't like it when the 911 people just try to do something when they have no idea what your diagnosis is and they can't do something. I hate that. But passing on, next up on the list, number 6, we have first aid and / bandages. So as I said, I hurt my head once. So obviously, if there wouldn't be anyone next to me, and if I would just wake up, and if no one would do anything, I would just get up, and if I would see somewhere on my body that I'm bleeding, I would need a band-aid. So I always keep this huge pack of band-aids with me. The good thing with this is, if you see on the box, they are small ones and bigger ones. Considering where you're hurt, not sponsored, I wish it was. Yeah, so that's an essential thing to have on you when you have a disability that affects seizures. And with the person thing that I said, number 5 was always hang out with someone who knows. And in my case, I hated telling people at first, but then I realized how important it was for myself and my safety, because if you're hanging out with someone who knows, they can help you when you have a seizure. So that's a really huge thing, which is why I'm speaking about it. That's important. And obviously, someone needs to detect a seizure. So yes, I have epilepsy, and I would easily detect a seizure if I were to see one. But even if you don't have a disability, it doesn't mean you shouldn't have the information and the knowledge what to do in case someone has a seizure in front of you. Because you might help someone, you might save someone's life, and I think that's important, which is why I'm talking about it. Passing on, next up on the list, number 7, I have something so people can tell your condition. So there was this amazing thing that someone on Instagram showed me. That person was wearing a bracelet that literally just said epilepsy, and that was amazing, because imagine that, like, people can tell, and if you have a seizure in front of someone, they'll be able to tell your condition and they'll be able to help. And it won't be the whole stupid calling 911 without knowing your condition thing, which tends to happen to me a lot and I hate it. So obviously it's better for people to understand it. I wear this purple scrunchie, and I mean yes, because the purple color is the color of a few disabilities, which includes epilepsy, but not every single person knows that. So there can be someone who wears purple just because they absolutely love the color, and then I'll look at them and I'll be like, oh look, they're wearing purple. Oh wait, they probably don't even know what the meaning is. So that can also happen, and it's not the best thing, but something so people can tell and so people can help if you have a seizure, because it's dangerous. And this is going on for a long time, but number 8 on the list we have a phone. That's one of the stupidest things, because people always have their phones, but what I mean by a phone is it's very dangerous to have a phone and have it like with a fingerprint or have a password on it, Because if you're alone in the street and you freaking have a seizure, and if your phone is unlocked and it has a password on it and it has your fingerprint, that's it. Like, you're doomed. Someone can do something. No one can call through your phone your parents or whoever you live with at the moment. No one can call someone you know to let them know what's going on. And how is someone gonna find you? Who the hell knows? So I'd say a phone without a password or without a fingerprint. So obviously that's one of those things that it's so hard to do, because for safety people put fingerprints, and the whole iPhone 10 has its Face ID, and my phone has Face ID, but it's not an iPhone. The one person who will not be using an iPhone. My phone's an Android, but it does have Face ID, and it has a fingerprint, and if you put a fingerprint, you obviously have to put a password. So that's a little hard, but it's something that's necessary for my own safety, for someone to tell and be able to call my parents, because I still live with my parents and I think that's how it's gonna be, and I really don't want that. But considering that I have epilepsy, and if someone finds me having a seizure, they're gonna be calling my parents, and that's an important part of it. And passing on, number 9 on the list is numbers. So you have to have your phone in a way that people can tell. So in a language of the country where you live, so people can understand the language. So I live in Armenia, but most of my contacts are in English. So I write mom and dad, not how it is in Armenian. But I mean, English is an international language and it's easy to tell. But if you live in a country where, for example, English is not an international language, or English isn't used as much, so here we use Russian way more than English. So I guess it's one of those things. And even if not like that, I always keep a little notebook with numbers in it, because if I have a password on my phone, I still want to be safe. And I have a little notebook for the most important things, not like the numbers of my classmates or something. No, I just have like the most important people and the people that I mostly hang out with. I have their numbers in a notebook just in case if my phone is on fingerprint or on Face ID. So if I have a seizure, someone can actually call my parents through the notebook. So that's a very important thing. I've been talking for 20 minutes, I can't believe it. Number 10 on the list is another notebook, but to write down your seizures. So I do that in my diary automatically, but it is very essential to know when you had a seizure and when, how long it lasts, because that's also very important. And usually people time seizures, so that's an essential. So obviously I also always have a watch on me. Well, not right now because I'm home, but that's a very important thing, because the more you have seizures, obviously the more like medication and stuff, and that's why I always write somewhere how many seizures you had, and hopefully like the dates, because sometimes in hospitals it's needed. The doctors ask like when was the last seizure you had, so you'll have to tell them the date and the year and the month and the day of it, and sometimes they even ask for the time, which I don't think is important, but well, apparently it is. So that is very important to write down. Like, I think even in your phone is okay, but something where you can just write it down and not in your phone where you might not even be able to find it at the moment, which is why I think notebooks are way better for this. And this is me, just me, but so I have this printout of a seizure first aid, and I usually keep it in my backpack, which is why it is crumpled up. But this is from the Epilepsy Foundation page. I printed this out just in case, and I always keep it with me. There are 6 steps to it, but I will talk about that in another video. If you guys want me to do videos on seizures and on epilepsy information, just comment down below what videos I should make. And if you have any questions about my life, about me living with epilepsy, also you can ask me down below, or you can ask me on my social media, which will all be linked down below. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!